Welcome my friends, this is Maniacal Incorporated and we are facing into an uncertain future. Diarmid has the money to form the High Kingship of Ireland, but he does not have the land, the exact opposite problem to what his brother Murchad faced. Diarmid is 59 years of age and his health is poor. We're told that he's ailing. And there's not a lot we can do about it. I floundered around the lifestyle focus tree a bit. I moved him onto stewardship in the last episode. And now we have more money than we could possibly ever need. If I'd moved him to the whole of body focus or the health focus instead, that might help him to add a few more years to his life. So things are going good at the moment, but they could all come crashing down. We have claims on Connacht, we have claims on Ulster, however. We are allied to Connacht and we have a truce with Ulster. The only thing that we could hope is here's another man whose health is poor. And if something was to happen to Rory, that would put us in a bad position, possibly. Is he? He is indeed heir to the Earldom of Connacht. Well, then again, this isn't a family that we're going to want on the throne of Connacht, but we have nowhere near the forces to take them on. So yeah, I'm not too sure what we're going to do. We're going to get some more money. That's what we're going to do. We can finally ransom this kid out after 8 years for 50 gold to his mother. I am going to come to Toirdelbach. Here is our distant cousin, and we're going to marry her to our son, Congus. They're both 11 years of age, and this will keep the Ivrian name going in the region. We could find somebody else and just organise a matrilineal marriage, but you know what? We'll do it this way. We'll send that proposal. Her father, Murchad, was killed in the last episode. Bled out after a lengthy torture session. That has very much turned our opinions of men who were allies of ours once upon a time. Possibly he was a bit angry. Gudrud was a bit angry after his son died. I've invitations sent out for knights. I have a lot of things done, married off a couple of people. We are going to call a hunt to celebrate our great victory. Somebody has been injured on the hunt, bounding through the wetlands. I am gaining on the flighty hart I have been chasing for hours, just as I prepare to strike. My marshal, Earl Fergus, cry out in pain. He has fallen and is now clutching his leg. So we could tend to him. Or there's no time to lose. What will practiced field surgery give us? Learning, +1. And he will gain dressed wounds. Yeah, we'll go to that. We'll tend to him. We have a good chunk of prestige. But we will tend to Fergus. And we have gained the trait Novice Hunter for healing somebody's wounds. We return home. I don't think we have much... Oh, we're out in the bog, lads. What were we expecting to find in the bog? We return home with 150 prestige. Here is our poor daughter Fionnuala, whose husband... The marriage never actually happened because, of course, it was in the midst of a war, but she came of age and became eligible to marry the man she was betrothed to, and he was killed a couple of days later. So I'm going to marry her to Duke Tristan of Brittany. There is actually an option to marry her to what would be a close family relative, actually, the future ruler of Connacht. But we're gonna build this alliance instead. And here is another man who is not doing the best, Lachlan Burke, who was married to a member of our family, our niece, Dervla. Here's somebody that's offered to join the court. We could recruit them. 135 gold. I'd say we'll hold off on that for now, but in consideration of the long life of service, dedicated service that Lachlan has given, like I said, he's in poor health. what I am going to do is I am going to grant him the title Earl of Kildare. Considering the amount of money we have, we might as well go on another building endeavour in Tuavuan. We should probably begin the process of upgrading to a keep. Now that's going to be 374 gold, which is a bit pricey. For now, what I might do instead is just increase the fishing net weavers. So increase our trade port. And we're going to have to get the keep next then if we want to expand on any of these areas. So that's probably the next thing that we will look to doing. But we'll try and get some money together the way that we don't fall below the sum of money needed to form the High Kingship, just in case something happens. And we might see about giving Leinster away to somebody as well. I'm actually trying to sway a member of the Macgilliforic, because of course they have lost all of their lands now at this stage. So I might, unless they're still hanging around in Ossory. They are not. So Ormond has spread up in that direction. So yeah, I might call one of them back from exile and grant them Leinster to get rid of that penalty. What a day, what a day. Today is truly the day that Laughter died. Didn't get up there in time to see what Laughter died from, but our court jester has died. We might actually need to get a replacement, because we're still a bit stressed out. So here's our attempts to sway Ken Falaed and get him to our court. We're going to say something nice about him. And absolutely, we will go for his assertive presence. He is brave. So I think that's what he might like to hear. And I think it's only fitting that in honour of our jester, before we appoint a new one, the man who wanted to save money, I think it's only fitting that we would host a feast in their honour. Eilish did love food fights. Unconcerned with any etiquette, my vassal, Earl Uchmaroin, slaps me on the back. This is somebody who's been causing us a bit of trouble. They want a position on the council, and I think they've been threatening an independence faction against us at some stage. I'll do anything you ask of me. Anything at all. I can smell the alcohol on his breath. We could get a weak hook on him. If it does nothing else, it'll knock him out of independence factions. He's quite good intrigue, but the problem is that Arthur is our spy master. So he could gain 30 opinion of us. His opinion isn't the worst. You are a man of your word, aren't you? Oh, he's still drinking. He's still drinking. Fair play to him. We could all tell that Earl Uchmaroin had too much to drink, because he was telling anyone and everyone that he would do anything for them, and so some of the things they were making him do. Simply rising from his seat proved too much for him, and now I am covered in stinking vomit. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Or we will gain 64 stress because we are temperate and diligent. We're going to have to give out to him. You divil you. Cop onto yourself. And it doesn't make an ounce of a difference. We've gained a chunk of stress anyway. Our friend Earl Cormac, a divilment of a figure, has died. And his sons have now divided Desmond and Lochlane between them. He was a very able chancellor, and I'm not too sure we have anyone in a great position to replace him. There is Uchmaroin. So here's one of our knights, just a random knight. Irgolach. Yeah, it doesn't look like we really have anyone else at the moment. It's the first time that we don't have kind of a high-ranking individual in as our Chancellor, and that is actually going to be a bit problematic. because I believe it means that we don't really have anyone great for the position of court jester. The wives of random courtiers. I couldn't do it to Heilvik von Chile. I just couldn't do it to her. Here is Irgoluk, who we've just made our chancellor, so we're going to make his wife, Imma, our court jester. What a couple they make. So I organised a couple of marriages there between knights and suitable figures. And we're going to have to start looking at... I don't know what we're going to have to start looking at. We're going to have to start looking at trying to get some more high diplomatic figures to the court. We'll have to try and find a husband for Heilvik von Chile at some stage. Our protege. But for now, I think it is just wait and see if the king can see out to the end of that truce with Ulster, or if something happens that brings that truce to an end and we can try and push for the High Kingship. So the feast is over and we have our wife Ethelreda to thank. I didn't divorce her after the death of her brother Waldev, which brought our alliance with Lothian, now the Kingdom of Scotland, to an end. She was ill there for a while, but she has recovered. She is in poor health because she's a drunkard. And we have failed to get our stress down. This man has been permanently, constantly stressed to the gills. And again, we make friends, they drop our stress and then they die. We could make him reclusive. We could give him the reclusive trait. Diplomacy is going to go down 2. Stewardship is going to go down 2. Stress loss is going to go up. And we're going to lose all of our friends, basically. But it does increase our stress loss. And I think, yeah, at this stage, maybe in his life, he wants to be left alone. He is still holding on to the reins of power. This is a man who still has things to achieve, but possibly he's getting kind of bored and sick of the petty squabbles at court. He's not going to retire to a monastery just yet, but he's going to become reclusive. If we have him bait himself, he's going to get the wounded trait, and that's going to be a severe health penalty. So yeah, he is going to become reclusive. The year of 1119 is drawing to a close, the longest period of protracted peace that the island has seen in quite a while. And what we're going to do is, we could commission another epic, but they're quite pricey. We're going to go on a pilgrimage. The minimum cost is 100. We'll prepare for the journey. So we don't have the option of going to Armagh, at least I don't think so. Let's see where else we have. Santiago. Perhaps somewhere else, that'd be the pricier ones. Do you know what, let's go to Santiago. Canterbury. Ugh, go away. Why don't we have the options of going to Armagh? Because we don't believe in the nonsense and gibberish that they peddle at Armagh anymore. We gave up on that old guff. We're not Catholics. Wait, no, we are Catholics. I can't remember which one we are. As I prepare for my journey, I know that I will travel safely under the protection of God, a different God to the last God that members of the family went on pilgrimages for. I don't think Diarmid has actually gone on a pilgrimage yet, or possibly, if he has, he's lost the trait because he doesn't believe in that nonsense. Is that his hand? That is his hand, isn't it? As my party passes through a small town, I notice a throng of people filling the market square. At the centre, a man stands on an overturned fish cart, shouting wildly to all who will listen about the Day of Judgment. So who is this? It's Tiernan. Ooh, Moeloan. Sure, look, of course it is. So we could lose some stress. Or we could shout him down. Do you know what? Yes. I sure am glad this pilgrimage comes with an indulgence. Free indulgence. And for the first time, I would say, since he came to power, he's no longer stressed. I am finally here, body and soul, at the great church of Santiago. So we've walked the holy path, we've gotten some piety, he's become a pilgrim, and because we have a different trait to the last time we went on a pilgrimage, we have armed pilgrims. He's going to gain extra piety per night now. Fantastic. I have walked the holy path and swam a bit of it as well. So, the pilgrim returns. His journey has been a long one, but he has finally come home again. It wasn't all that long, it was only a couple of months. He's undergone a journey. Everyone can see the changes. Except Gilacomon, I'd say, who still isn't endorsing us. A peasant rabble in Dol Clua have created a faction against us, the fools. So we're seeing here is lower crown, or lower authority. This has 2 members, so 2 separate factions, and then we have Ohmaron. Do you remember I said Ohmaron was tending to cause a bit of problems? We're trying to restore control as well in Scotland after we allowed them to basically drop control by, I think, about 75, minus 75. It's far from the best marriage. But here is Blochere. Something along those lines. He has the quick trait. And we're going to organise a marriage, a matrilineal marriage between him and Heilvik von Chile, who we failed to convert to insularism, because of course we converted to Catholicism halfway through. So we're going to organise that marriage, and we'll see what the Irish House of von Chile will achieve in future. Do you know what? Fair play to him. I don't know how he got his kid in prison somewhere, but other than that, Malcolm the 4th of Scotland, the first from the House of Dunbar to rule, he's done a fairly good job. He's managed to get these guys to accept vassalization. He's gotten the finances together. He's gotten the army up. We've just been granted an unpressed claim on Carrick, down in this region. Of course, what we do have against Gudrid, he's allied to Leinster, so we could actually start another proxy war against Leinster over lands in this region. So we have a couple of people. Gruffyd, one of our knights, actually has a claim, and of course Geetha, our ex-wife, has a claim to this location. Where does... Oh, boys. Oh, Jesus. He's claims to the whole thing. If we could form the High Kingship and push his claim to the Isles, that would be brilliant. If we could form the High Kingship of Ireland and keep the Isles and keep Iona out of the grasp of those Scots, the Divils, and the Norwegians. Well, the ungrateful so-and-so. Our jester has just left our court. Her husband, our chancellor, is still around. We'll take a risk. We're taking a couple of risks at the moment. We'll take a risk that we'll be able to keep our stress levels down. Another risk that we're taking is I'm waiting for this next lifestyle focus to complete. Right now, we could switch to the learning focus and go for that health boost. So that's another bit of a risk that we're taking, but I think we'll see it out, and we'll hope that all works well. We have a nose for profit. Now, while out on a leisurely stroll, the cry of a particular merchant stands out from the regular hustle and bustle of the street. Greetings, my lord. I have an exquisite assortment of wares if my lord has the coin. So let's see what we have. These etchings must be real. 27% chance that we gain 100 lifestyle. 50 stewardship lifestyle. Do you know what we don't really need? We don't really need the lifestyle experience. Earl Edoin will lose some opinion of us. Our poor nephew, poor old Edoin. So yeah, I don't think I want to risk losing the money, and I don't really need the stewardship experience, because I think we'll just... Edoin, stop it. You've trinkets at home. Not a moment too soon. There is our stewardship perk. There was no need to be buying trinkets. Edoin, you fool. Collect taxes efficiency. Vassal tax contribution goes up. We do have a lot of vassals. Or the cutting cornerstones. We'll go for the old vassal tax contributions. I don't think we're going to be spending a huge amount of money. And we are going to, like I said, we're going to swap straight to that small health boost from the medicine focus. Another daughter, Skahak, comes of age. She was being educated by us as a diplomat. Not the worst. Could be a jester. There are a number of very interesting individuals that we could organise alliances with. Here is Ludwig Eriksson of Northampton. The only problem is that his liege is the future ruler of Connacht. So I'm not so sure that I want to push that, because if we do go to war with Connacht at some stage, we're not going to be able to call him in. Of course, if we do form the High Kingship and vassalize, is there a chance Ireland is going to end up ruling the north of England? That could be awkward if we do form the High Kingship. We could reform our alliances with the Isle of Man. They did still side with Ulster in the last war, or with Leinster in the last war, so I'm not too sure that I want to do that. Torvi, the Divil up in Iceland. We could actually organise an alliance with him, or with his son. Our daughter would become his secondary wife. I'm not entirely too sure. There is, however, I think this is maybe, we're going a bit far overseas. There is a member of the Duchy of Yealand. I think this is probably... He's actually the heir to the Duchy of Yealand, so I think this is maybe the direction that we will go. That is, again, a substantial army. We're going a bit far overseas for our alliances now at the moment. Our wife, Petty Queen Ethelreda, comes storming in, screaming blue murder at us. And thankfully, we find it calming. And our stress is reduced further. We have that new alliance, and it could very well be put to the test if Ulster and the Isle of Man come in against us, or if the Isle of Man comes in against us when we try and attack Ulster. Our physician's knowledge has increased, and you can see that I've changed who I'm trying to sway, because his brother, I think it was Ken Falaed, would not accept an invitation to the court. And Gruffydd has died of old age. Well, there goes, and our court physician has died of old age. Oh dear lord. Well, there goes our dream of conquering the Isle of Man. Or conquering the Isles, I mean. And so here he is, the man that we have been preparing as a bishop, as a physician. And he's not on this list because he is serving as Abdul's counsellor. So he's left the court, and I don't think we can invite him to court. It's going to be very, very difficult. So, no, not you, you divil. Actually, here is our daughter, Skahak, but she is a grey eminence. Ern Magarda seems to be the best mastermind philosopher. Fairly solid learning. It's saying that she's poor, but we will appoint her. And we'll see maybe about actually hiring a physician. Our daughter Nuala comes of age. Nuala has become a fortune builder. They grow up so fast. And just in the last few months, we have seen the death of our enemy, Gudrid of Man, and he has been succeeded by his daughters, and the kingdom has split as a result, of course, of the death of his son, Kemoin, our potential son-in-law. We were looking to use them to push into Scotland. I think we only used them in a single war, but he has passed away, and that could leave the Isles in a position where it could get mopped up by Scotland. And I think our dream, once upon a time, it was looking like we were going to have more success in Scotland than Ireland, and it's entirely possible that we're going to fall between both stools. And after what seems like an eternity, our eldest son, Mael Patrick, has come of age, trained as a skilled tactician. His skills aren't the best, aren't the worst. The future of our branch of the family already does not look like a character that could succeed Arthur. He does have one more brother. And we'll see about forming an alliance for him. Things don't look great for the poor man at the moment. There is an interesting alliance into Gwynedd. So there is the Prince of Gwynedd and his wife, the Petty Queen of Man. So maybe not, maybe not. Not at the moment, because of course I think she still has an alliance. She doesn't, so those alliances with Ulster have actually been broken, so Ulster is out on its own. We could declare war. We have overwhelming numbers, but the problem is that we are going to lose a chunk of prestige. So if we go for Arthur's claim to the lands of the Dal Noradi, which seems the most sensible, we'll gain the Broken Truce for 3 years, and we will go down a level of fame, and that is probably something that this king in particular does not want to do. Recently, our son came of age. Well, today, Duke Tristan of Brittany comes of age, and is now in a position to marry our daughter Fionnuala and cement that alliance. To the sensible, petty King Diarmid of Munster, I gladly accept. I'm sure you do. We've just seen France spread into England. And we've gotten the pop-up that our wife has passed away. And what kind of shocked me there for a second was that we see the silhouette of a head with an arrow pointing downwards. I thought it would be pointing upwards. Wife, as you draw your last breath, relief washed over me. Perhaps I should be ashamed, but in truth, there was no love lost between us. Finally, I am free to start my life anew at 60-something. And the other thing we can see, that is the Isles have indeed fallen to Scotland. Not a day too soon for everything. So she just about lived to see her nephew cement his control of this region. We still have the powerful Munster kingdoms, but of course, if Diarmid was to die right this very minute, most of this region would fall apart and they would become independent entities, which Malcolm could offer vassalage to. He's playing a very intelligent game. He is wounded. I'm not too sure if there was a war of recent, but he is putting together tremendous military strength. His only problem is that he does not have great alliances. If it wasn't for the lover's pox trait, I would send an immediate proposal to this woman. But because she has the renowned physician. We have a herbalist. So somebody who might make potentially a good physician. I'm basically just looking to marry a doctor. Oh, that's not a surgery kit. It's a surgery kit, but not the type that I'm looking for. Well, we've been forced to convert to Catholicism, so do you know what? We might as well be as holy as we can possibly be. Oh wait, no, this is an insularist. We'll marry a bishop. And we are indeed told that our wife will make an average doctor. Oh Lord, what's going on here? It has been revealed that our daughter, the Duchess of Brittany, if I'm correct, has been having an extramarital affair with her lover, who is our guest. How could she defile the sanctity of her marriage? This is somebody we invited to the court to have them join us as a steward. Oh, not a steward, a knight. I'm getting myself confused. So my guest has brought forward undeniable evidence that my own grandson, Murchad, was fathered by none other than him. Oh, mother. Mother of what? I am not sure of what to say or how to feel. At least it's all out in the open now. Who would have known? Well, he did, obviously. We can't imprison the devil, but he won't be getting a position in our court. Somebody is trying to kill Magnus, poor old Magnus. Somebody we recruited, I think, from one of our wars in Scotland. We forced him to join the court. The new Earl Murchad of Loch Lane has invited our son Congus down to Tralee. I will send him down. What's the worst that could happen? So we've finished increasing control. You... As if it was not enough that he embraces the worst vices of humanity, Gilacomon has now insulted me to my face. He sent a messenger, making sure that the whole court could hear the vile comments delivered. To the chattering, petty King Diarmid it began, and only got worse as it went on. My God, that's bad enough. The two-faced man has some nerve. This cannot stand. I will make sure he pays for his insolence. Just you wait. Gillo, come on. Just you wait. If that pushed me into Stress Town, oh, they'd be hell to pay. So we've managed to sway Mueldred. He also will not accept an invite to the court. So I'd say we'll be holding on to Leinster ourselves. Our child has returned. So he's left Earl Murchad with a bloodied face. Whatever is after happening to him. He's wounded. Boys will be boys. And speaking of Congus, he has come of age. He is betrothed to a close enough relative of his. He'll be leaving to join her court as soon as she comes of age. And he has actually become a fantastic learning-focused figure. Could very well be appointed as our court physician. Mind and body. The further I delve into my studies, good man, keep studying that stuff. The more apparent the link between mind and body becomes. Too much worry can make you sick, and the mind is no stronger than its vessel. My wise friend, my nephew, if I'm correct, Faircar, swears that vigorous movement... should you be telling a 64-year-old man to be doing vigorous movement? Helps to keep him... keep him stress in check. I have also read about the benefits of journaling to soothe anxiety. So, athletic, or he could become 50% chance that he'd become a diarist. Or take the day off. I would like him to get the diary skill. Let's see if we can get that 50% chance to get the diary skill. We did indeed. It's going to knock 2 diplomacy off of us for a year. But we are going to take to our journal and begin writing down our thoughts. We will lose 24 stress. So he has already commissioned a great epic, and now possibly he's thinking of writing something that he can leave behind him for posterity, if he fails in his bid to become the High King of Ireland. I'm inspecting the barracks infirmary when a severely injured soldier is brought in. He's losing too much blood. Where's the physician? The petty queen is nowhere to be found. A chill runs down my spine. I might be this man's only hope. Suddenly, as if he stepped out of thin air, my nephew and friend, Fair Car, is at my side. He rolls up his sleeves and looks at me. So we could gain 50 learning experience. And Seamus, or Hectorgurn, joins our court. Oh, it's Seamus. He'd lose 10 opinion of us. And we could get 300 lifestyle learning experience. We're quite close. I think because he's a good friend of ours, we're going to get down on our hands and knees and help him. There's also a chance that we gain the lifestyle experience, or we could just let him bleed out. No. Let us help our friend to make a new friend. To fix a new friend. Our patient screams and thrashes, even though 3 grown men weigh him down every step of the way is a battle. But Fair Car remains calm, and eventually a quiet focus settles over us. I'm not sure how we manage, but in the end it seems like the soldier will live. That was an impressive feat, Diarmid, Fair Car says with a tired smile. It was an honour to serve at your side. And this has been another episode of Irish Eeyore. This is what I wanted. This is what I wanted. This is why I sent Earl Arthur to the court to find out what sneaky business he could find out about. This is you absolute. The things that I'd call you. While performing his duties as my spy master, Arthur has uncovered a secret held by my rival Gillicomone. He has secretly taken my ex-wife as a lover. You devil. So look at this, the absolute arsehole. 50% chance. 50% chance. We're going to blackmail him. But there's only a 50% chance that he'll actually accept that. The absolute devil. What about you? What do you have to say about this? The mother of my only 2 sons. Blackmail refused. This truly is a treacherous so-and-so. Whether it is a misguided sense of pride or fear of some greater reprisal, Gillicomone claims that I hold no sway over him. I'll give you no sway. A threat was made. I'm telling the Pope. Hi, lad. Look at this. Come on. You can't be putting up with this. You can't be putting up with this carry-on. Look at this. Not since the days of my brother, Murchad, have we seen debauchery and mayhem and devilment on this scale. I want him excommunicated. 500 prestige, or 500 piety, I should say, is a hefty chunk. It's going to knock us down in our bid to become a paragon of virtue. But I think that the most important thing is that we get this devil excommunicated. We can't be having a lad like that running around the court with children around. Our son Congus came of age recently. Here is a distant cousin of his. So we will send that proposal. And I believe he's left our court. He has indeed. To the charming petty King Diarmid of Munster, I am most disturbed by these tales you tell of Gillicomone's misdeeds. It pains me to do so, but I agree that for the good of the Catholic faith, Catholic faith, that's me, that's all I've ever thought about. You've agreed to him being excommunicated. It's entirely possible he'll continue to be our bishop. I am glad Pontinius saw the wisdom of my request. You told me that I held no sway over you. Do you remember that? Do you remember when you told me that? Are we in a position to imprison him? I think we don't have that hook on him, because he didn't give us a hook, but we are now in a position to imprison him because he is excommunicated. I'm going to try and imprison him. Oh, it's not going to succeed. He's going to run. If you fail to imprison Gillicomone, he will still be your bishop. Absolutely. This absolute devil. He managed to avoid capture. That's shocking. Well, this is awkward. We can make... Now, don't you be having shady conversations. Mairead, don't be hanging around with the likes of her. Passing through the castle gardens, and so we hear the two of these talking. They're talking about Arthur. I will have them bound and delivered to Arthur. If only I could get a bit closer. I must know what they are hiding, whatever the cost. Sure. Let's bound and deliver the two of them. So, Mairead is no longer our seneschal. We're going to release her straight away. Oh, wait, no. She's been imprisoned by Arthur. I'm sure he'll let her out. It's fine. It's fine. Now, it is essential for us to keep the... keep somebody appointed as seneschal for control growth because it is quite low. Here is our daughter Nuala, who we haven't married out to anyone yet. And it's entirely possible that we might try and keep her in the court. We'll appoint her as our seneschal. And so we might keep her around. We keep putting members of the family into this. She's just replaced Mairead. By the end of this month, we will be in a position to go to war with Ulster. And with all that is going on in the kingdom at the moment, that is what we will pretty much do. Poor old Lachlan, the Earl of Kildare, has died from complications related to his giganticism. And he has been succeeded by his son, Orthaluk. So who is this? Here's our niece, Dervla. So they were married in a matrilineal marriage, and already he's actually had a son. Greetings, my sensible liege. I am willing to release Muireann from my care, but freedom does not come for free. Keep her. Care for her as much as you want. She's yours. In honour of poor old Lachlan, and in honour of the care that Arthur is giving to a distant cousin of his and our ex-wife, we will declare war for Arthur's claim to the lands of the Dal Noradi. And hopefully, this will put us in a position where we will be able to claim the High Kingship for ourselves and eventually for Arthur. The Isles have joined the war on the side of Ulster. It makes sense that we would call in Connacht at this point in time. However, if we take a look, we will see that she has a number of wars. I'm not too sure which one. We'll take a look at this one. She's already fighting against Glún Iarn and Connacht. So Connacht is already mobilised and taking part in that war. So the Isles are in a pretty bad situation. We might get away with not calling Connacht into this war because it's technically already involved. Who do we have as commander of the army? Our son. Well, Patrick, I think it is only fitting that we would take charge of this ourselves and we would march on the lands of the Dal Noradi and see if we can get in there. We saw 2,000-man army disbanding, so this would be the armies of... This is now a hostile army. That's a bit of a problem. We'll start the siege. Connacht has now become hostile to us. And we see a spate of things happening. Oh, we've just seen a spate of things happening. We've seen a spate of things happening. Petty King Diarmid of Munster rests in the arms of the Lord at 65 years of age. He died of old age, an old man. He lived a long, but not long enough life. Petty King Arthur ascends to the throne. Never fearing the wrath of God, Arthur is unlikely to spare any subject the punishments he sees fit. Well, damn it. Oh lord. The utter anarchy. Well, Patrick has taken the petty kingdom of Meath, so he's taken the actual county of Meath out of our control. And he has also gained Leinster. So that's 3 counties on the island of Ireland that have been lost, and the entire Scottish holdings are gone. I have no doubt that Congas will get pulled into Scotland at some stage. Of course, that means that the lands of the Dalgash may eventually get pulled out of Munster, way off into the far-flung future, but this is a position that will be of tremendous benefit to Scotland, no doubt. We will take a look at the lineage. 26 years, 2 years longer than his brother Murchad, our father Murchad. 8 wars, was actually just 1 more, I believe, than Murchad. It didn't do enough for him. He was a devoted servant of God, as opposed to that lad. Distinguished, which I think is actually pretty much the same, and of course he was the cultural head. Arthur is 40 years of age. And we will continue as petty King Arthur. We have a new bishop, Lorne. They do not like us, so insular Christianity is back in control of the kingdom. A faction targeting our uncle has disbanded. Well, Dorad, who our uncle Diarmid was hoping to put in charge of Leinster, he's been swayed, but that has come to an end, and this is it. This is what I had seen, that big pop-up. Heart failure. Rory died of heart failure, and 3 separate regions within Ireland have now gone to... not to her, but to his son, Duke Wystan of Huicha. And who has gotten the rest of the region? He had a son, Bron. So Bron has become the petty king of Connacht. I didn't quite realise this, but Dol Clua has become by and large independent. However, the north of Scotland is now part of the great kingdom of Meath. A substantial counterpoint to Munster. We've retained Dublin, thankfully. So Arthur's actual land in Dublin has been retained. We will have to go to war with Meath for the duchy. We could possibly even end up at war with England. Maybe not. To try and finish off that region. We could see ourselves going to war with Connacht. Now that Connacht has been slightly torn apart, it might be best to divert our attention from Meath, which is quite powerful. Well, there you go. Diarmid, undoubtedly the greatest member of his dynasty to date, fell just short of the achievements of his great-grandfather, Brian Boru. He had marched into the far northeast of the country. We left it too late. He was more concerned with his legacy, and now his legacy will ultimately be that he failed at the last hurdle. Thank you for joining me on this episode, and let's see what we can do in the early days of the rule of the new king, Arthur, in the next episode.